Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, you read the title. Today is going to be a girl talk. I don't think I've done, well actually no, I used to do talks with Abby, but now I've rebranded my channel. So if you're new, before we get into this video, channel name is Abigail Susan. I go by Abigail, that is actually my name. That's what I like to be called. So I'm not going to title this talks with Abby because I'm no longer under the Abby umbrella. But today we're going to be talking about self-love, confidence, and all those things, because to be very honest, it's something that I still struggle with today, but I feel like I have improved a lot. This is only like the first month of the year, but I feel like I've seen a different improvement in the way that I act, and just my overall mental health this year. And it's so weird, but we're gonna get into it. But the reason I wanted to talk about this because I feel like it is talked about a lot, but I also did a poll and I saw that immediately that was something that 2 people voted for. So I was like, all right, I'll do the video, because I have been talking about, well, not talking about it, but I had been thinking about doing this video for a while now, earlier this month, but I never filmed it. But anyway, we're gonna get into the video because I don't want to talk your head off. So we're gonna be talking about the broadest topic. I feel like it's broad because it can compass so many things, but that's self-love. Now I have my planner here so that I'm not all over the place and I can stay focused. My goal is to try to make this 15 minutes. I don't want to make this super duper long for no reason, but I feel like the reason why I want to even make this video, because I feel like not only me dealing with this, I think a lot of women deal with this, to be very honest, just because a lot of the times I think we put focus on other things than we do ourselves. It's almost like it's unheard of, right, to put yourself first. And honestly, for me, self-love had to became a big thing for me to work on. I'm currently still on my self-love journey, obviously, but therapy was what made me kind of really aware of how much self-love that I did not have. Now, I actually ended therapy this month. One big thing was cost, because I was spending all that money for something that I feel like at that point in time, it was kind of one of those things where it was it kept on circling back to self-love, honestly. That was the biggest thing. And for me, it was just it's kind of I had to take it upon my own hands to practice it myself. And so far, I'm going to be honest, that has been probably the best thing. I'm not saying, like I said, I love my therapist. It was all good. But then I noticed, as time went on, I kind of went through this year just to really quickly and kind of just took out all the unnecessary subscriptions too. So I didn't only cancel therapy. I also canceled other, subscriptions that I wasn't using anymore, because I kind of, had to get to the point where I was just what are the things that I actually need and actually want? Now, I'm going to get back into therapy, but that's going to be later on, so let's get into it. So first things first, what is self-love? Because maybe somebody might not know, but pretty much self-love encompasses kind of putting yourself first, prioritizing yourself, practicing gentleness toward yourself, practicing compassion towards yourself. Those are a lot of things that I feel like as women, sometimes we don't practice it. It's something that we have to it's something that you have to I don't want to say force yourself, but there's something that you have to work on practicing, if that makes sense. And I say this is for everybody because I feel like you can be like me in your late 20s. I'm a millennial. It's crazy. I'm going to be 29 this year in December. But, I'm getting older. I feel like a big thing about even in your singleness, right? Or just, if you're a mother. Or even if you're in a relationship, it doesn't matter where you are. A big thing sometimes we don't do is prioritize ourselves. We're always caring for ourselves. I know for me personally, I'm a natural carer for other people. I'll be thinking about somebody else. If I go to a store sometimes, what can I buy for this person? What can I buy for that person? It's not that I necessarily neglect myself, but sometimes too it kind of comes to the point where sometimes you kind of have to just think about yourself. It can sound mean, but sometimes it's not necessary in a narcissistic I hope I said that right way, but it's more so in a way that is, kind of putting yourself, because sometimes we always put other people above ourselves and we kind of neglect ourselves and just us in general, our self-esteem, the love that we have for ourselves. And I think that's a very major part. If you don't have some type of love for yourself, then it's kind of hard to love somebody else. So you can care for people, but I think ultimately you first need to love yourself before you even kind of go on other people. Because what happens is, for example, if you're in a relationship, you're so focused on the other person, you're not even focused on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, yes, you have kids, yes, you have to love your kids, but you also need to take that time for your me time, your time for yourself. So anyway, let's get into it. I think I encompass what self-love is. So the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to self-love is talking positively to yourself. That is a big one that I had to deal with, especially like I feel like last year. It was a constant thing in therapy, talking to yourself positively, because I feel like I can be very self-critical, because also I'm very, what's this word, like I'm very specific on how I want things. Even if I do content for you guys sometimes, or whatever I'm doing, like I'm very organized. So if things don't go my way, then it kind of rubs my last nerve. So it's kind of like getting out of that habit to where it's kind of like, if something doesn't go how it plans, it's like whatever, let it go, move on. I feel like I've done really good with that. It's crazy, but like I'm saying it and it's only been a month in 2024, but like I don't know if it's because also like, and I'm not thumping religion on anybody, but me personally, a big thing that I've done, especially the beginning of this year, has been constantly praying, reading devotional, and stuff like that. And I think that has set the tone for the way my attitude has been, like to the point where also like I kind of just like I got to a point where I feel like I'm strictly just at peace, where I just don't like, things don't annoy me as much as they would annoy me in the past, if that makes sense. So kind of like just not talking to yourself negatively, like if something doesn't go wrong, or also like setting the stone, like let's say you have a goal and then you don't achieve it, kind of like not getting on yourself, like it's okay if you didn't achieve it, something's better is gonna happen. And I feel like that's always been my mindset somehow, but then sometimes I can like go back on it. So like I feel like this year I've been really making a point to be like, and I think this is why I created my vision board. I have that on my vision board, something along that lines, like this year is going to be a year of, I think you're going to be in a better position, or I forgot what the quote is, but I do believe that. And I'm not going to share exactly what happened, but I did get exciting news about something in my email for my brand. So like I definitely feel like it's all put into perspective, the time that I spent to, yes, work on myself, but also the time that I'm taking to have a more positive mindset. I think too, it starts with your day. Like you have to start your day on a high note, and I feel like it's hard sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, especially when I have to wake up every morning for work, specifically at 5 a.m. You're super tired, you're groggy, you don't want to talk, but I do feel like I've been in a better headspace, because I take the time to, even if I don't get to read my Bible right and then and there, I do have a journal. I'll link it down below. I don't have it next to me. I didn't put it next to me, but that too I feel like has helped me to kind of center my mind. And also affirmations. Now I've tried to do this in the past. I think the best way is different for everybody, but I'm currently using this book. The book that I currently got this month is actually Self-Love Workbook for Women. It's Release Self-Doubt, Build Self-Compassion, Embrace Who You Are. This is like the perfect book to get. I feel like if you're really trying to work on it, because it kind of holds you accountable. So this year I did want to get some type of self-love, or some type of like what's the word, character self-help book, and I ended up getting this one because I thought it was really good. What I like about it is, like, I'm a person who likes to write down things, so like journaling is also a good way, but I like this even more because it's kind of like, it has kind of questions that you have to answer. And that was the biggest thing that the writer of this book said, like you have to having a self-love journey, you have to be willing to, what is the word? You have to be willing to be open, and not like, you know how sometimes you see a question, you want to avoid it? Like you can't do that with this. Like you have to be open to answering any questions so that you can really get a deeper understanding about yourself. But I was also talking about affirmations, stuff like that. That was one thing that this book does mention. Now this has a series of like about, I think, 7 different chapters. The first chapter is kind of like little questions here, and it kind of like talks about how do you rate yourself. So like I said, I'm still working on that. I feel like I've gotten better on, as far as like how do you rate yourself when you're talking about putting other people above you, or how do you talk to yourself. You know, that was questions, and it's like rate yourself from like 0 to 5. And if you notice like your numbers on the lower spectrum, that means you're putting more attention to other people and putting it above yourselves. And really you want to get to the place where, even I still like want to get to the place where it's like I'm at that 5 where it's kind of like, yeah, I still care about other people, but I still care about myself first. And I think that's the biggest part. But yeah, I don't dive too much into it, but like there's so many different activities. You can color, you can do a lot of stuff. I like it because it's really like, it's better than, I do like journaling, but I feel like it gives me more things to do because I like to write. It gives me more like open-ended questions that I have to answer, and makes me really think about stuff, and it kind of helps me process. One of the things too, going back to affirmations really quickly, is one of the things that was in the book was to write at least 5 affirmations and put them in somewhere that you can see it. So in the past I tried to do it, but it was in my mirror and I had to write it, and it was really messy and it was annoying, and I kind of wanted to be more personable to me, so I put it somewhere else where I could actually see it, where and that was one of my devices. So every time I open up my device, I can see, all right, those are the affirmations that you have for yourself. And I think one of the ones I have is like, it's okay not to fail or something. Even if you fail, it's okay. Oh, one of them I definitely have is self-love is a journey. And it is like, you never, like, I think sometimes too when we think about self-love, it's like, oh, you're gonna get it immediately. No, it's like a process. You're constantly choosing to love yourself, and that takes a long time, and it's a long process. So yeah. So next one I have is make time for yourself. Me time, I put me time in quotation marks. So this encompasses a lot of things. The first thing I wrote is solo dates. That's a big thing that I want to really do more. I put once a month for my solo dates, but that can honestly be more. The reason why I personally put once a month is because the way my job schedule is set up. But I feel like I will probably do maybe twice a month on the months. Like, for example, February is approaching. I do get a week break, so I am considering doing maybe 2 solo dates in that week. I'm not entirely sure what it is going to be, but like it could be anything. Like I have, like this past week I did allow myself to go out somewhere, just to go exploring around the city, and that's the thing, it could be anything. I also was reading, like I go through a list of solo dates just to give me ideas, and some of them are like stuff even in your house, like stuff that I actually been doing. So realistically, I think I've done more than one this month. Like for example, reflecting on your vision board for the year. I did that earlier this month. Another one was like doing a pedicure, manicure. I did that like last week. So I feel like I've been doing some stuff, because sometimes I feel like too, when you hear soul dates, automatically a constant thing is going outside. But I know for me, like the biggest thing that I've been really on is going outside more alone. That's the biggest thing, and that's why I say that's like, it's one thing to do stuff inside, but really going outside alone, having that time for myself, just the quiet time. I did a couple of solo dates last year, but I definitely want to do way more this year. Like I said, last week I did after work, which is not as usually unheard of because I'm always tired, but I made the time to go out, explore the city a little bit, did a little shopping. I went to this skincare place, and I think I'm going to do a separate video. You guys will see that like in a little vlog. And then I also ate dinner in the city, and then I went home. Just kind of like change up your routine a little bit. Just even if it's an hour or 2 hours. Yes, of course I was tired, but at least I made that time to just be alone without distractions. And I feel like I wasn't really on my phone that much either, which was good as well. It was kind of just like time for me to focus on me, and I think it can be anything. Like honestly, like a list was like go to a museum, go do a facial. Like last year I did a facial. Like it could be anything, just kind of like making sure you set some type of time, whatever it is. Even it's like 2 hours to yourself to sit in quietness and do something that's only you. So, and then like I think too, that kind of goes in with confidence. It takes a time too for, I feel like, for that to become a piece, because obviously if you're used to, like me, you're used to always having somebody go out with you. When you go out a couple of times, it does get awkward, because I feel like it's easy, right? When you're going to work, you already set your routine, so I don't really care when I'm by myself going to work, because that's routine. But when you have to like change your routine and you're like, all right, I'm going to Manhattan alone, or I'm going wherever I'm going, it kind of gets awkward. But I feel like as time progresses, then you get better at it. It's just like you have to push yourself to do it. Like it's like, what is that quote? Like, you make time for what you want, or something like that. Like as you continue to progress and make time for doing that, then you're able to do it, if that makes sense. So I think that's self-explanatory. Just setting days. It could be the weekend, it could be during the week. However your schedule is set up, it's kind of like you just have to try to find time, even if sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm so tired. Try to find that time, because at least you know, like, you set that time for yourself. Next thing, well, I kind of already talked about the book, so I'm gonna skip that. I was talking about the self-love book. There are a bunch out there, but this one was highly recommended on Amazon, like I said, and I like it because it kind of has different components to it. Like I said, there's writing pieces, there's parts where you can draw, color, so it's kind of like in constant. And I'm a person who likes doing those color drawing things and stuff like that, even as an adult. So that's why I really like this book personally. So I'm gonna skip that because I already talked about that. And then the last two things I have. So the next thing is, like, everybody has a different self-love journey. So I think sometimes too in our human nature sometimes look at other people and compare ourselves. Oh, this person has this and blah 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 blah, so why do I not have this? So I think also it comes to a place where you have to kind of focus on you. Stop comparing. It's easier done than said, obviously. Again, because like I said, we're humans. It's in our nature to think about, oh, this person has X, Y, and Z. But I think too, it just kind of comes to a point where you have to focus on yourself, your journey. Stop worrying about other people and what they're doing. And I think once you kind of prioritize yourself, it kind of gets easier, where you kind of just don't care about what everybody else is doing, and you kind of care about what you're doing. So, and I just put, like, don't focus too much on what you can and cannot control. And I think I also read that. I was reading that in my devotional too. This past week. It's like, where it's just like, don't worry about it. Like, don't focus too much. God is going to control whatever is meant for you is going to happen. But don't be too, like, hard on yourself about things that you can't control. Because at the end of the day, God, like, kind of has his future, and he has what is aligned for you. So just kind of, like, be patient about it. So that was actually my devotion. I read that. The last thing I was saying is seek help in some shape or form. So some people maybe do have a good family member, whatever, that you can go to talk to, but let's say you don't, or sometimes too, like, or a friend, whatever, you just don't want to talk too much about your personal business, whatever, for whatever reason, then therapy is definitely a good form. I did therapy for like a year and a couple of months. I think it was a good outlet for talking if you need to get it out there, but at the end, like I said, ultimately you get to a point where you have to kind of, like, put in the work yourself. Because if you're, at the end of the day, yes, talking to a therapist is good, like I said, but as a person who's been in therapy, but if you haven't and you feel like you really need to, like, talk about things so you can really understand yourself, understand what are the things that you're dealing with, the things that you need to heal from, then definitely do that. I highly recommend that. But if you just know, like, you've been through therapy, you know what you need to do, then, like, in my case, I just feel like you just need to work on that. And, like, for me, like I said, the biggest thing I feel like, which is a constant struggle with a lot of people, is self-love. And so, anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully, guys, I gave you guys some helpful tips. Let me know any of your tips down below if you are also on a self-love journey. And I'll see you guys in the next one.